Is the slide is visible? Hello.
Yes,
okay. So in continuation to my last class, I was discussing about the histology of the stomach, and mostly I have discussed about the histology of the true stomach. Histology of the true stomach. So today I will discuss about the complex stomach, the ruminant stomach histology. So while we discuss about the true stomach, that you know that there are what is called the three gland regions, that is cardiac, fundic and pyloric gland regions, and the glands varies in the three different regions, and especially in the fundic gland region is very much important, considering the four important cells which perform the gastric functions located here, including mucous neck cells, parietal sheath cells, as well as enteroendocrine cells, which is also called as enterochromatin cells. So today's we'll deal with about the complex stomach. As you know, in the ruminants there are four compartments, that is rumen, reticulum, omasum. By this time already you have studied the gross anatomy of complex stomach or not? Yeah, but still I have given you ideas in my last class. Okay, so first three compartments, that is rumen, reticulum and omasum. Okay, and the last compartment is the true stomach, that is the abomasum. So histology of abomasum is similar with that of the simple stomach histology. That is already we have studied that is the cardiac, fundic and pyloric gland regions. The same histology of abomasum is same with the simple stomach histology. So coming to the first three compartment of the complex stomach, the rumen. So rumen, as you know, is we consider it as a tubular organs. So in the rumens, what you will find the layers of the typical tubular organs. Here you can see this is, you can see the diagram. Hello. Yeah. So this is the lamina epithelialis mucosae. Mostly you will find keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Okay. So this layer is the lamina epithelialis mucosae. It is lined by the keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Then what you will find here, you will find the propria and submucosa continuous, because in rumen you won't find the what is called the lamina muscularis mucosae. So as there is no lamina muscularis mucosae, so it will be continuing with the propria submucosa. That's why next to that you will find that this layer is called the propria submucosa. Then this layer, have you seen? So this layer is called as the tunica muscularis. Tunica muscularis, here you will find two smooth muscle layers, entirely smooth muscle, inner circular and the outer longitudinal smooth muscle layer in the tunica muscularis. And the last layer you will find a peritoneal covering, mesothelium, that is the tunica serosa. So that is about the histology of the rumen. Come to the reticulum. So in the reticulum, it is quite similar with that of the rumen. So you will find the epithelialis, lamina epithelialis mucosa, same epithelium, keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Then you will find this layer is called as the propria submucosa. The entire layer is called as the propria submucosa. Then you will find tunica muscularis, and then lastly the tunica serosa. Here no advantage here, serosa, because it is under the peritoneal covering, mesothelial lining. So now how you can identify histologically the rumen and reticulum? So almost the rumen and reticulum is the same. Rumen also lamina muscularis is missing, but in reticulum also lamina muscularis is missing. But if you see under microscope, okay, so in the reticulum, little where there is a reticular crest are there, longer crest are there. So in the upper part of the certain folds, you may find a lamina muscularis. Here you can see. So this is a stripes of the smooth muscle that forms the lamina muscularis. So this particular area you won't find entirely here like this. You can see here you won't find like this. Okay, so only in case of reticulum you will find in the upper part of the fold you will find a lamina muscularis mucosa. But in case of rumen, entire rumen you won't find a lamina muscularis. But in reticulum, only longer fold, little longer fold in the upper part of the larger crest or the longer fold you may find the lamina muscularis layer. Okay. Generally, it is absent, but you will find in the longer pole, in the upper part of the longer pole, the lamina muscularis layer. This is how you can identify histologically the rumen and the reticulum. Coming to the omesum, you see in omesum, all the layers you will find, okay, like lamina epithelialis, lamina propria, lamina muscularis, tunica submucosa, tunica muscularis, tunica serosa, all layer you will find. And here you can see this is a distinct lamina muscularis mucosa, which is missing in rumen and in reticulum except the upper fold. Here you can see the omesum. Entirely you will find the lamina muscularis in the fold. So that is about the histology of the three compartments. You can see this rumen. So lamina epithelialis is keratinized reverse squamous epithelium. Here no lamina muscularis in rumen. So lamina propria submucosa is a dense held rock of collagen, elastic and reticular fibers. Tunica muscularis, as I have told you, inner circular and outer longitudinal layer of smooth muscle. As serosa is typical loose connective tissue by mesothelium, the rumen. So in the reticulum, it is same, just like rumen. Except is that this point. A lamina muscularis is located only in the upper part of the larger reticular crest. So by this structures only, by this fissure only, you can identify reticulum histologically. Okay, a lamina muscularis is located only in the upper part of the larger reticular crest. Okay, and rest is same. Tunica muscularis, two layers, inner circular and outer longitudinal, and serosa. Serosa is the loose connective tissue covered by the mesothelium. Coming to the omesum, you can see lamina epithelialis mucosa, again the keratinized certified squamous epithelium. Lamina propria is aglandular, that means there is no glands. Aglandular you will find. There is no gland in the lamina propria of the omesum. And here you will find lamina muscularis, as I have shown in the picture, a very thick layer of lamina muscularis. Okay, and submucosa, which is formed by the connective tissue, which is very thin in case of omesum. And muscularis, you will find inner circular and outer longitudinal. Normally, inner circular is little thicker, and outer longitudinal is thinner in case of omesum. And serosa is typical connective tissue covered by mesothelium. Any points here? So next to that, we will find next to the stomach, what you will find, that is the intestine. Okay. So while we are talking about the intestine, so normally the intestine is a typical tubular organ, especially the small intestine part and especially the first segment of the small intestine, the duodenum. So while we are talking about intestine, that you will find that intestine is having two parts. One is called as small intestine, another is the large intestine. Small intestine is divided into three segments, that is duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Large intestine is divided again into three segments, that is cecum, colon and rectum. Is this clear to you? Duodenum, jejunum and ileum, cecum, colon and rectum. Okay? Yeah. So here this is a schematic, because as I have told you, you will find in the intestine that all the layers of typical tubular organs. That means all the 4 layers. That is mucosa simply mucosa or the tunica mucosa. Then you will find a submucosa. Okay. Then you will find a tunica muscularis. Okay. And then you will find at least the serosa. Okay. Serosa in the intestine also you will find serosa because there is no, it is within the body cavities. So while we are talking about the intestine, you can find that intestines, the mucosa of the intestines thrown into various fold-like structure which is called as the villi. And villi is projected towards the lumen of the intestine. This is the villi of the intestine. Okay, this villi. And next to the villi you will find a lumen or opening through which the food materials goes to the next segment of the intestine. Here you can see the villi. The mucosa, okay, submucosa, okay. So this is the villi, and you see the villi. This is the apical part of the villi. At the top, this is the apical part of the apical surface of the villi, and the base. So at the bases of the villi, you will find certain glands, and these glands are simply called as the crypts or crypts of Liverpool. Crypts of Liverpool or the crypts you will find. Okay. So let us go to the description part of this. So as I have told you, intestine consists of the 2 parts, the small and the large intestine. Small intestine divisible into 3 portions, that is duodenum, jejunum and ileum, which gradually pass into one another. That means duodenum, then jejunum, then ileum. And their general structure is similar, but there is certain distinctive features. And as I told you, intestinal wall consists of mucosa. Simply I have written means mucosa means the tunica mucosa, submucosa, tunica submucosa, tunica muscularis, okay, and then tunica serosa, all the layers. Then so you see the mucosa, and the mucosa, as you know, there are 3 layers in the mucosa, is not it? Hello? What are 3 layers of the mucosa? What are 3 layers of the mucosa? What are 3 layers of the mucosa? Anybody? Hello? Hello?
Sir, lamina propria.
No. First layer is?
Sir, epithelium.
Sir,
the epithelium.
Yes, lamina epithelialis mucosae, lamina propria, and then lamina muscularis. Okay. So here, just coming to the lamina epithelialis, you can see in the lamina epithelialis, in the villi, you see the lamina epithelialis, the first layer tunica mucosa, the first layer of the tunica mucosa, lamina epithelialis. You will find they are lined by many columnar cells. Okay, columnar cells, and in between the columnar cell, you have seen some empty spaces here. You have seen some clear area in between. So these are the goblet cells. So mostly you will find in the villi, they are lined by the columnar epithelial cells, and in you will find the goblet cells. Clear? And you see the number of columnar cells, they are more towards the apical part of the cell, towards the apical part of the villi. Okay, and goblet cells are more towards the basal portion, towards bottom basal portion. Okay, and normally you see at the tip of the villi you won't find a goblet cells. At the tip, at the topmost part of the villi, you won't find a goblet cells. Okay, so that means in the villi you will find the columnar cells and goblet cells. The goblet cells function the mucus secretions, and these columnar cells, they used to divide at the base, especially near the crypt. Okay, and they renew after every 2 to 3 days. Yeah. So this, we are talking about the epithelium. So surface epithelium is simple columnar with goblet cells distributed along the columnar cells. The columnar cells, okay, and high and reach their greatest height on the villi. Nucleus is oval, situated on the lower half of the cell. Cytoplasm is granular and usually acidophilic. So, as I have told you, in between the columnar cells are mucus secreting goblet cells you will find. Okay, scattered among the columnar cells are mucus secreting goblet cells, and they vary in appearance according to the amount of secretion they contain. And this cell, that means the goblet cells, the beginning they contain small amount of mucin near its apical border. And secretion increases, the mucus gradually displaces the cytoplasm and the nucleus is flat and pushes the nucleus to the base of the cell. Okay? And you see, then that can be stained by the special mucin stain. That means the goblet cells can be stained with a special mucin stain. That is, I'm just telling it for your reference. By the past stain, periodic acid stain that can be stained. And secretion is discharged through the free surface apocrine mode of secretions. The lamina propria, so you will find mostly the reticular tissue with elastic fibers and few collagen fibers you will find. You will find numerous lymphocytes in the lamina propria. Okay, and as I have told you, both in the small and large intestine, lamina propria contains simple tubular glands. These are simply called as crypts or crypts of liver, queue or intestinal glands. This is important. Okay, so where the crypts are located? Simply you can say as crypts. That means these are the simple tubular glands. So simple tubular glands present. Simple tubular gland present in the lamina propria is counted as the intestinal glands or crypts of liver poo. Okay. Then, in addition to that means in the epithelial is mucosa, columnar and the goblet cells. Propria, you will find the crypts as well as the collagen, elastic and reticular tissue. In addition to that, the small intestine, the gland fundas, the gland means which gland? Talking about the crypts of liver, crypts or the intestinal gland. In the small intestine, the gland means the glands of the lamina propria. It is the crypts or crypts of liver or the intestinal glands. The fundas of the glands contain specialized granular cell that is called as Paneth cells. Okay. And these Paneth cells, especially by this time, it is identified only in the horse and the ruminants, not in the other species. Paneth cells. They are serozymogenic, having the characteristic started chromatophilic materials in the basal regions and large refractal acidophilic granular epithelium. Okay, it is believed that these cells may produce in some digestive enzyme, but the exact function significance is not known. My point is, you must know where the Paneth cells are located. So near the fundas of the crypts of liver, or intestinal gland, Paneth cells are located. They secrete the digestive enzyme. Exact function is not clear, and mostly they are identified in ruminants and horse. In addition to the Paneth cells, you may find also argentaphil or enterochromatin cells in the crypts, among the crypts of intestinal glands. And when they are present, they occur usually singly and contain specific granules in the basal part of the cells, which are stained by silver and chromium salts. Same enterochromatin or argentaphil, already we have discussed while we were talking about the fundy gland regions, the last 4 categories of the cells. Argentaphil means which are stained by silver salt, enterochromatin which can be stained by chromatin salt. Okay. Then muscularis mucosae. That means lamina muscularis mucosae, smooth muscles, which are in 2 layers perpendicular to one another. They may interwoven. Then submucosa is loose connective tissue. Okay. And tunica muscularis is well developed, made up of plain muscle fibers. Outer longitudinal and inner circular layer. That is about the tunica muscularis. Okay. And then what we are talking about, next to the tunica muscularis, that will be the, what is the next layer?
Serosa.
Yes. Huh? Yes. Tunica serosa. It's covered by mesothelium. Okay. So this is typical. Serosa is typical. So now let's see what is the differences you will find in between. So while you are talking about regional difference, so regional difference mean, so in case of you see the villi are broad and spatula shape and thin in case of duodenum. In the duodenum, this villi of the intestine, small intestines, they are very spatula shape. Okay, so in the epithelium, columnar cells preponderate over the goblet cells. Mostly you will find a columnar cell. And you see branch tubuloalveolar glands are found in the connective tissue known as Brunner's gland or the duodenal glands. So in the tunica submucosa, remember, glands you will find in lamina propria also. This will be called as the crypts. The glands, entire small intestine, whether it is a duodenum, jejunum or ileum. So you will find lamina propria, the crypts or the crypts of liver or intestinal gland. In addition, submucosa you may also find the glands. These are the branch tubuloalveolar glands. And in case of duodenum, it is called as the Brunner's gland. It is asked, separately asked, where you will find a Brunner's gland, whether in the propria or submucosa. It is in the submucosa. Okay, submucosal glands of the duodenum is known as Brunner's gland, B-R-U-N-N-E-R-S. It's very important, Brunner's gland. And these glands are lined by low columnar cells which resemble pylori gland. Nucleus is flattened, located at the base of the cell. Cytoplasm is apparently eosinophilic. These glands secrete mucus and ducts which are lined by columnar cells, often between the villi or in the crypts of liver. So it's clear? And now you see, this is about a regional difference in small intestine. Now how you will identify the different segment of the small intestine, duodenum, jejunum and ileum. What happens, once you go from duodenum, so you will find the submucosal, the Brunner's gland. So what happens in the lamina muscularis, if you go to the second segment, jejunum and ileum, you will find what is called the more lymphatic tissues. Okay, and these lymphatic accumulation, especially in the ileum, it will be called as the Pierce spexis. Pierce spexis. Large accumulation of lymphatic tissues. Yeah? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So you will find a Pierce spexis in the ileum. This is the characteristic feature of the ileum. It is not that you will find a Pierce spexis in ileum, but this accumulation of lymphatic tissue or the Pierce spexis you may find in jejunum, as well as some spots you may find in duodenums too. Okay, but mostly it is the characteristic of ileum. Presence of Pierce spexis is a characteristic of the ileum. Okay. Then comes to the large intestine. So large intestine is consists three segments. That is, there is a cecum, colon, and rectum. Is the cecum, colon, and rectum. And structure of this large intestine, okay, and the small intestine is almost similar. Only there is little differences. Okay. And which are the characteristics common to these three segments of the large intestine? That means which are the characteristics that can differentiate from that of the small intestine to all part of the large intestine is, you see, in the large intestine, there are absence of villi, longer, less coiled, simple tubular intestinal gland with many goblet cells. We are going towards the large intestine means number of goblet cells are increasing. Absence of Paneth cells that you will find in the fundus of the crypt in the small intestine. Paneth cells are there, acidophilic granular cells in ruminants and horses. And these Paneth cells are missing in the large intestine. You won't find. And increased number of lymphatic nodules. So lymphatic nodules will be increased towards the large intestine. Clear? So these are certain common characteristics. And to all the three segments of the large intestine that make difference from the small intestine. Absence of villi, longer, less coiled, simple tubular intestinal gland with many goblet cells, and absence of Paneth cell, and the increased number of lymphatic nodules. Okay. Of course, the mucous membrane of the rectum is usually thrown into number of longitudinal folds. As the anus, the small, simple columnar epithelium is replaced by stratified squamous epithelium. Anus means when it continues to the exterior with the skin, the epidermis beyond the anal orifices. The submucosa and muscularis do not have any special tissues. Syrup pus is absent in the terminal portion of the rectum and is replaced by fibrous growths. That means towards the anal canal, because towards the anal canal, because what you will find in the large intestine, cecum, colon, and rectum. Next, you will find anal canal, which will continue with the skin. So towards the anal canal, you won't find a serous cord. You won't find a tunica serosa. Okay, you will find a fibrous cord. Clear here?
Yes, sir.
So if you see the large intestine, when you study the gross anatomy of the large intestine, there is lot of differences in the gross anatomy, okay, in different species, especially the cecum, the colon, and rectum. So grossly, there are a lot of differences, very important points, especially if you see the cecum of horses, which is site for fermentation, about 33 liter capacity. Okay, cecum, many circulation bands you will find that you won't find in other species. While you study the colon of the horses, especially the great colon of the horses, there are 4 different divisions with 3 flexures, which you won't find in the other species. Okay, so there are gross anatomy, especially the colon and cecum is very important in case of horse. Okay, though histologically it is very different, they are almost similar, the structure is. So next to the rectum, you will find a small terminal portion of the intestine that is called as the anal canal. See this anal canal. So anal canal is having little importance, means little special importance in pigs and carnivores, because in case of pigs and carnivores, the anal canal is divided into 3 zones: columnar zone, intermediate zone, okay, and you will find the cutaneous zone. 3 zones of the anal canal you will find in pigs and carnivores: columnar zone, intermediate zone, cutaneous zone. And while talking about the columnar and intermediate zone, both these zones are lined by non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. And here you will find a modified tubulo-alveolar sweat glands. This is called as anal gland. See, modified tubuloalveolar sweat glands, the anal glands, in case of pig and carnivores. Okay? And the cutaneous zone epithelium is same, like columnar intermediate zone, same the stratified squamous epithelium, but here only it is keratinized. But in case of columnar and intermediate zone, it is non-keratinized. But here in the cutaneous zone, it is keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. And here in the cutaneous zone, you will find one modified sebaceous gland. So it is called as the sarcamenal glands. See the difference of the glands, anal gland and sarcamenal. Where you will find the anal gland, where you will find the sarcamenal glands. What is anal, what is sarcamenal? Okay. So anal glands, you will find it is a modified tubuloalveolar sweat glands. That is called as the anal glands. Okay. And modified sebaceous glands, this is the sarcamenal glands. And this anal gland actually it is found in the pigs and carnivores, but the sarcamenal glands it is restricted to the dogs, canine, sarcamenal glands. And it is related with most of the, it is associated with most of the, what is called anal tumors, okay, tumors of the anal regions in case of dog. They are associated with these sarcamenal glands. But you must know what is a sarcamenal gland. It is modified sebaceous gland. What is the anal gland? It is modified tubuloalveolar sweat gland. That means modified sweat gland is the anal gland, modified sebaceous gland is the sarcamenal glands. Here, that is about the anal canal. So do you have any points here? Okay. So if there is no point, I'll stop here. We'll discuss in the next class. I will give you the text of today's class. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.